Hey guys, I just came across this video where this mom was on a school board meeting. Man, she was going off on the school board about this gender nonsense. Let's check it out, man. This is going to be a good one.
Is Margaret Hamilton, followed by
Mm.
John Amanchukwu.
Hello. I'm here to speak on behalf of our younger children and their academics. This book, It Feels Good to Be Yourself, which has an oxymoronic title based on its content, can be found in 26 elementary schools.
Damn.
It is geared towards K2, and as Macmillan Publisher says, it basically is geared toward ages 4 through 8. It introduces 4 different characters with different gender identities. It makes it seem as if gender is an imaginary concept that can be changed on a whim, when the truth is gender is factual. You're either a boy or a girl. And gender identity, what you see yourself as, that's imaginary. Well, let me read you a couple of things. First character is Ruthie. She's a transgender girl.
Ooh.
That means when she was born, everyone thought she was a boy until she grew a little older, old enough to tell everyone that she's actually a girl. Then there's her brother Xavier. Xavier is a cisgender boy. Which 4 through 8-year-old knows what cisgender means? Can they spell cisgender? That means when Xavier was born, everyone thought he was a boy. And as he grew older, it turned out everyone was right. He was a boy. Then there's Alex, the friend. Alex is both a boy and a girl. Then
What?
there's JJ. JJ is neither a boy nor a girl. Ever since JJ was very little, they never felt exactly like a boy or girl. They just felt like themselves. This is JJ's gender identity. Some kids feel like girls. Some kids feel like boys. Some kids feel like a little bit of both. Part boy, part girl. Reminds me of that old commercial. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Is that okay? Some kids don't feel exactly like a boy or a girl. They feel like neither. Some kids feel that their gender identity isn't always the same. It's often changing. So now are we endorsing schizophrenia? What are we doing? Whether you feel like a boy or a girl or neither, if you describe yourself another way, that is your gender identity. When does this foolishness stop? When you shroud lunacy, insanity, or fallacy in colorful words and pictures to be read to young children, you have created an unsafe environment, since we're talking about safe environment, right?
That's what's up. That
Where
is
does
what's
it
up.
stop? At this tender age, our children should be learning their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Who authorized this? Who told you that you are God? Who gave you permission to tell our children who they are and who they're supposed to be? This is intentional and evil at its core. Get back to what you were elected to do and formally educate our children, not indoctrinate them with left-wing ideologies under the guise of providing a safe and welcoming space. Hear us clearly. We will not surrender our children. Leave our children alone.
That's what's up. That is what's up. Like, oh my God. This woman should be Man, this woman should be. Oh my God, she was on fire. I've never seen, especially a woman, have this take on this gender nonsense. I've never, man, she should be. But I mean, if you're in a school where you have those kind of books read to your children, should you even have your children in those kind of schools? Like I'm all for school choice. I'm all for school choice, but nowadays you got to go into that school. You got to know what you got to talk to the teachers. You got to talk to the I don't know the board members, whoever. You got to know what your child is learning. Back in the day, my dad he never came to my school. Maybe once in a while, maybe when we're doing something, but he never really cared because he knew that when I go to school, I'm learning my math, English, and science. Nowadays, you have to worry about this nonsense, this poison. You got to learn it now. I'm all for school choice, and I know school choice is the best thing. You got to send your child where you want to go. But even in Catholic schools, man, you got to go in there and make sure they are not teaching all this nonsense, all this left wing nonsense to your children. You got to make sure you got to be active. especially for the fathers, you got to be active. I'm talking to the fathers now. You got to be active in your children's life. You got to know who the school they're going to, what they're teaching in those schools, who their teachers are, the books they're reading. You got to know who your children. You got to know their friends. You got to know who their parents are. Like you got to know all these things. Now you got to pay very close attention because just like that, you could lose your child. Just like that. I've seen it happen so many times. You got to be attentive. You got to pay attention to what your children are doing. We live in a very, very, very dangerous times now. Before it used to be, you're just worried about your children's safety when it comes to guns, when it comes to being around drugs or some stuff like that. Now you got to think about what they are learning. Now you got to think about what they are learning. Parents, please protect your children. Know what your children are learning. Know what your children are reading in school. Know who your children are hanging around. Even on their phones. Even on their phones. Look at what they are watching on phone. Look at what they are watching on social media. What they are consuming. Look at who they are following on Instagram. Look at who they are following on TikTok. You need to pay attention. I can't stress that enough. You need to. Anyway, that's just my thought on it. If you like the video, I love this video. Please hit that like button, hit the share button, leave your comments down below. I love to read them. I always do. And if you may, please subscribe. You have a good night.